3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Dualcast, our very first episode ever.
Ever
with Drak and Larry.
Sit down and join us for a spell as we talk about life and gaming for the first time ever. Just ignore those clips you see on our channel. Don't worry about it. So last week, in the episode we didn't do, what is now being referred to as the lost episode, we went over the difficulty, the ever-changing difficulty in Final Fantasy, where we feel that it is, what was the most difficult, what made fights fun and difficult, what was just difficult, and kind of where we'd like to see the game going in the future, in our personal opinions and experiences. And we have a little ranking for you. Also, topics of last week. Larry, we found out Larry does not know what edibles are. That was
what is? An edible?
An edible.
What are we talking about again?
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay.
So for fights, we ranked
like popcorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. For extreme trials, Thorn March, which is Mogumog, Ramu, Shinryu, and Nidhogg.
Which has had some contention on Twitter.
Yeah, they don't matter. They don't matter. The next,
that is the official list, and we're sticking with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think the harder thing is getting into a PvP queue, but you know, me.
Feels bad, man.
It certainly does, doesn't it? So anyway, today we're going to be talking about why is my little tablet? It's like restart. I've restarted like twice since I've been at your house.
It's my internet. It's hijacking your laptop.
I don't know what the hell it's doing. We want to talk about what you kind of do to get good in Final Fantasy, to be able to get to those fights, to be able to actually take on raids, and stuff like that.
Now, what qualifies us to speak on these things?
Well, I just finished Eden 4 Savage on content, so
you're trash. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I haven't done Ultimate, and that is, you know.
I'm the best. I'm the best player in this game, so therefore I can talk about how to get good at the game.
Oh, that's all. I should have said that.
That's all you have to do.
I should have said that. Dang it. Okay, my bad, guys.
You're the second best player in the game.
You know, I'll take that.
Okay,
I'll take that. I can do the supporting role.
Yes,
at the top of the DPS chart.
I went to college for Final Fantasy XIV. I got a degree and a minor in casting as well. Yes.
I wasn't ready for that one, so I have no follow-up to it. We'll just take your word for it. My degree is just in sociology.
Yeah,
I didn't get good at Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's not gonna cut it. You're not really qualified.
I don't like these microaggressions you're throwing at me. Anyway, also I just want to straighten up. We did not have we didn't know that Twitch doesn't default when you make a new account that it saves.
To record.
Yeah, and we weren't recording because locally, because Larry's computer has tendencies to blue screen.
Yeah, it tends to do that, which is always nice.
So we didn't. So if that happens, then, and there's a weird cut in the middle of this, if you're listening to the audio,
you know why.
Yeah, I'll probably bring it up anyway, but you'll know why. So anyway, so cough.
Oh, they probably heard that in my mic anyway. That was like a yell cough. Oh my goodness.
All right, so yeah, I've assembled a few things that I believe that Final Fantasy should tell you, but they don't. And then I went to Twitter and I asked you guys what you guys thought Final Fantasy could do a better job with. So I have a few of those picked out, and we'll go through a few more of those. Yeah. If you guys have any more that you want to, shoot out at us, feel free to throw it out in the chat, and we'll acknowledge and discuss.
So we're going to be talking about how to get good at it, and then to start off, like, when you first start up the game and you're brand new and you're like, okay, what is this game not helping me do right now?
Yeah,
like
because
that?
It kind of ties into what we were talking about with the difficulty in the game, in that they have to kind of scale it to the majority. But then how do they help the majority get better? And what are they not doing so that they can accommodate all the players, or at least most of the players, while still maintaining a good, status of challenge. So that's still entertaining to play, and not just a face roll. And one of the things
everything in this game is a face roll.
Yeah, like Titan, it just face rolls over me. It literally rolls over me.
Yes.
Because I'm like, all right, I'm getting into position. Oh crap, that's where the tank is, and I'm flat. So just like the Earth, he drives.
Oh
on.
my God! We're not going there.
Just on that he drives on. It's a flat surface, Larry. What?
Okay. All right.
You always have to make things of such a
Drak is a flat earther, apparently.
I'm not. First thing is first.
Combat.
You know what? I made some side notes, but I'm gonna go into this first. So I actually did the Hall of the Novice, and I want to see a show of hands in the chat. Who is relatively new that has done Hall of the Novice?
Or anybody.
Yeah,
because we were talking about it, and we were talking about things that the game doesn't tell you in the beginning, and you were listing out things that when we started the game it did not tell you.
No.
So since they added the Hall of the Novice, I was like, I'm pretty sure some of these things it mentions at least. I think one of the things was the Holy Trinity, right? Like tanks, healers, DPS, what the game even expects of you to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I think it at least says that now. But
kind of, sort of,
yeah. But it was definitely we didn't even know because we didn't even really do it. So Drak over here actually took one for the team and went through the entire.
I almost fell asleep through every single one, but it's okay. Now the first issue, I will point out, it's good that it's so early. It's level 15. You get in there.
Which is an Alport, right? Alport. Limsa?
Yeah. Should be around Sestasha, 2 levels before Sestasha.
Right.
So you're around that area.
So before you get into your first dungeon, the game is like, okay, it's time to learn a little bit instead of just doing your quests and hitting 1 1 1 1 1 1.
Right. Okay. Yeah, even though you're still just hitting 1 1 1 1 for the most part.
Sometimes two.
Sometimes two if you're not a dragoon.
Yes.
So or a black mage.
1 transpose.
So I'm gonna start off with definitively the worst one, which is healers, and I'm gonna play a little game, a little side segment called what the descriptions of Hall of the Novice really should be. So
this sounds interesting.
Oh, it's great. I assure you. So across the board, the first one is just dodge AoEs.
Wait, you mean the less how is it structured? It has lessons and you click them and it's okay, we're going to teach you this one lesson.
Well, it goes through it periodically. So you have to start with 1, then you go to 2, and then if you need a refresher on any of them, you can then later on pick which one, as long as you've already beaten it.
Yeah.
So it always starts off with dodge this AoE. Dodge this AoE. Now there are 2. Now there are 2 AoEs.
Oh no.
Dodge 2 AoEs. And so okay.
That's scary.
That still doesn't work. People still stand in those like they are damage ups.
What happens? Did you try standing in the AoE anyway?
They yell at you.
Okay.
they just
That's
yell at
good.
Dude, I'll get into it. They yell at you over the smallest thing.
Okay.
It's pretty funny. Which they probably should do more, honest, but it was
more yelling.
I was like, game, fuck off. Leave me alone, okay? Trying to figure out what you're actually asking me to do. So first one, dodge AoEs.
Right.
If you didn't know, AoEs are bad. Unless they're stack markers, but we're not getting into that. That is not even remotely mentioned.
What, stack markers?
Nothing.
Well, that's complicated. That happens. When is the first stack marker in the game?
I don't.
The first stack marker is pretty late in the game. I would say maybe around in the level 50.
I actually don't. I don't know.
I want to try to figure this out. Garuda, Titan, and Ifrit don't have any stack markers. Right?
Right. Yeah.
So then the first stack marker is probably around the level 50 range.
You might be right. I'm not sure how many. I could have sworn a boss did it, but you might be right that there's a bit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at a 50 dungeon there was a stack marker, but I'm not sure about.
People are saying Nidhogg. I mean, That's strange to me, because maybe if you're going through the story for the first time you ever see a stack marker is Nidhogg.
Really?
But yeah, I guess if all you're doing is story, if the only thing that you're doing is story the first time.
Raids had it, right?
Yeah, like obviously Nidhogg wasn't the first one that had stack markers. Like it was in Coil and like EX Trials and stuff all the time.
Well, maybe I just need to shut the fuck up. I don't know what I'm talking about.
But no, what I'm saying is, like, if you go through the story, you're not gonna ever see those things.
I guess not.
Huh. That's strange.
Yeah, I mean, they do tell you to do that in story quests. But also Tataru is a little shit. In the Four Lords quest, because she will take explodey things to you that you're not supposed to soak.
Oh, like
I died to that quest because she's like, "Oh no, get this off me!" I'm like, "I'm a DPS, get the hell away from me!" Yeah, and she just blew me up.
She's like trying to stack with you with her singles target.
Yeah, they were like
AOE.
Following me around, or like she had little bubbles following her around, and she ran them into me. I was like, I don't need this right now. I get enough of this with Corey. So dodge AOEs. Just straight up, just dodge AoEs. In the second quest for All of the Novice on Healer, they ask you to, or you are tasked with healing a paper towel.
What?
That does not appreciate the how low can you go game.
Healing a paper towel?
A paper towel.
What does that mean?
It is a tank that takes probably about 1/5 of his health every auto attack.
Oh.
So that's what you're up against.
I've heard of those tanks.
Yeah. Clearly didn't gear properly. Wasn't in tank stance, which doesn't matter anymore anyway. So yeah, it's the weirdest thing though, because when you're dodging AoEs later on. Oh, so yeah. That's lesson 4 is dodging and healing at the same time. Lesson 3
getting complicated.
Is you're healing 2 paper towels, but they're not in your party. And they're not even considered companions.
Do you have regen available to you?
No.
Why would I do that?
They just ask you to hit cure.
How am I gonna DPS? The game's teaching you bad?
I mean,
it's teaching bad practices?
Yoshi P said he doesn't want to tell people how to play the game. He doesn't want to be like...
He tells people how to play the game by making healers have to do nothing for like 10 minutes in a fight, and so the only recourse they have is to push glare.
Yes, I mean, I guess
that's how they're telling healers how to play.
Cure. Just cure this person, now target this other person, cure that person. You don't really get used to the party UI or anything. I'm like, they have it on Chocobo, so I don't know why they didn't have it on these people.
Oh, so like
you have
Medica characters.
Yeah, you have Medica. You don't have a party. So I cast Medica and I just watched my own health.
So Medica won't heal the NPCs around you.
And they don't want you to Medica. They want you to individually cure 2 different people.
Oh my goodness.
Which, like, it's not, I'm not saying it's a difficult thing or a hard thing, but it's like if you're teaching
it's
AoE
not good practice.
Healing, yeah,
it's not good practice.
So I wasn't thrilled about that, and it doesn't change throughout the rest thing. That tank also doesn't pick up the ads in any of these, so they're
chasing you.
No, they're like, they focus the DPS.
Oh no!
So it's like
that's for the challenge.
A situation that shouldn't happen, but you're practicing for it anyway. Unless you're like in Innocence or Titania, they do that. DPS have to pick up an ad. But aside from that, like, you have Medica.
Yeah, and you'll get there in like 100 hours anyway, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, like, if you go into like your first dungeons and you get also a baby tank, they don't know what to do. So I guess that's your little experience there of like, oh, it's time to
it's fair, but
heal.
Like trying to like target some, like, I don't know. Some people think that click targeting is easier. I like what do you call it? Going through the party list.
Well, you play with a controller, right? So
yeah, but even on like mouse, like, I would misclick. I'm always afraid I would misclick. I guess people can click on the party list too.
See, this was actually a skill that you would have to learn for StarCraft, was being able to quickly move your mouse like at a very high quick velocity with a high accuracy and click the thing that you were intending to click.
Oh, okay.
So I have that skill now, Drak. So I can do that.
College education coming in.
This is my Final Fantasy college education. I minored in StarCraft too. So that actually entitles me to be like a really good healer, so I can heal NPCs that aren't in my party very well.
I mean, so I guess, you know, once you've mastered number 3 for healer, you are a StarCraft legend.
Yes.
So you can go ahead and pick up your honorary minor,
which you will never need to do again in the game. Actually, that's a lie. You could in 24 men you could click people, mouse click them to heal them. That's the only time I ever really mouse click.
Yeah, by the time you have to do that, typically it's too late.
Yeah, it's all going to shit already. Yeah.
it's all done. It's all over.
And even then, I don't really do that. Most of the time, I don't heal them. I just raise them when they're dead already. Which is from the party list. So
yeah, I think that's safer to be like, all right, let's look at all these red X's and see who can bring back. So, all right, let's number 5. This is the last one. The healer only has 5. 4. I skipped 1. 4, you dodge and heal the paper towel. And the AoE, so the tank that your tank is fighting, has an lion AoE that he shoots out.
Yeah.
You can just bait it away because he's targeting you.
Oh, so you just don't face the tank. It's teaching you how to be a tank as a healer.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It is the most bizarre thing. So I just thought I had to move out of the way because he's targeting the tank. No, it targets you. And I was DPSing and I thought, oh, this is a tank. And then I was reminded, no, paper towel. And he died.
Right. It's a DPS.
It's pretty much it's a gladiator that's pretending to be a dragoon with blood for blood on.
Because he doesn't get aggro either.
He can hold one as long as it's like already. They do teach like aggro a little bit. They at least like don't. This is in DPS actually, but they're like, don't attack something that hasn't been attacked yet, or you're gonna pull threat.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, that's probably. I did have that issue early on with the DPS before I really got a handle on. Aggro. This was when aggro was an issue.
Aggro's not too much of an issue. It is a little bit to the point of like a new player, if all they have to do is touch the mob. All they have to do is have tank stance on and hit the mob one time, and they're fine. So if they don't hit the mob, then they'll go all over the place.
Yeah, so like back in when Wander's Palace was the place to farm for philo tomes. Was it philo or myth tomes back then?
Philosophy and mythology. It had both.
Was it both for those? Okay.
At the very beginning, it was philosophy. Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to date myself as accurately as possible.
Yes. There. Yeah. If you want to date yourself, be like, I was farming for philosophy to get that dark light gear.
That dark light gear. People got real upset if you didn't have dark light gear back then.
Yeah.
Why don't you have your? Like, just I know the fight. Let me in. Let me in.
So overall with healer, it didn't really teach much.
It wasn't. I mean, I don't know if they actually. Like I said, I fell asleep through half of this because there's just text on the screen before you can do anything, and it's just like, okay, get through it. So they do mention a few things. I'll give them credit for that. The last one is you're basically running through a mini Bardam's medal, but it's like through Limsa, so you're just like running down a hill, and they pick up ads, and then you fight something at like the end of this little stretch. And they're always standing in AoEs, so they didn't listen to the lesson. So you have to cleanse
like real
them.
Players.
Yeah, so you have to cleanse them from their accuracy down, because they always get accuracy down. So
I wish real content made you have to cleanse things like that.
Yeah,
there's not much cleansing for mechanics.
No, it's if you get hit, that's there's no recovery. And if it was that easy, then, or if you could cleanse things, then people would be like, oh, then what's the
right? They'd be like, where's the difficulty?
Yeah, this is so forgiving. This is so. Oh, I only want unforgiving content that I can never be raised from. I never want to be cleansed again. It's my fault. I should die. It's just
actually, I like it too when I can fall off and not get revived.
I mean, yeah, but I'm not hostile about it. Anyway, see, and my critiquing notes is that there's no mention of diminishing returns on debuffs. So like for how many times people got hit, because eventually the people in your party just didn't get affected by accuracy down anymore. because they
Oh
got hit
yeah,
so
I
many
guess
times.
I guess the game never says that really.
So in healer they didn't really mention enmity, not until DPS, and then no one but a tank should ever be taking auto attacks other than rare instance spreads. So we already kind of talked about that. And then only level 15, so there's no regens, no shields, no instant casts, and they don't teach you AoE heals.
So they don't teach you how to heal. They teach you how to push cure.
You can cure, and you can target somebody else, and you can cleanse. That's it.
Okay.
I don't even think they tell you to actually DPS, because as soon as the tank gets to half health, they're like, quick, heal your tank, he's gonna die, he's gonna die, he's about to die.
I remember that. I did the healer. I did the healer one.
Out.
I remember. I would be like, the tank's at half health, he's fine, let me throw some rocks. And they were like, no, he's dying.
He's dying.
You need to heal him now.
He only has half of his health. He is dying. So that was great. Okay, DPS, dodge AoEs. They teach you aggro. They actually talk about accuracy. The accuracy, where you get,
wait, what?
Yeah, you get less. You have less chance to hit your target if you're in front of it. So tanks have greater accuracy.
They talk about that?
Yeah.
Because they kind of got rid of accuracy, but I guess that is still kind of in the game.
Yeah, they took it away as a stat, which thank goodness.
Oh my god, thank goodness. That was the worst.
You guys think BIS is rough now? Try to find a BIS because you needed the right amount of accuracy. Yes. Did you ever meld accuracy?
Yes, I had to meld sometimes. It was the worst feeling ever needing to meld, because you were like, all right, if I don't meld, I'm going to miss occasionally. And so my DPS is going to tank. So I should just lose this crit and meld. So I guarantee I will always hit.
Yeah,
it was the worst.
It was terrible. It was horrible. So they do talk about that, and they talk about positionals. They actually talk about positionals. Yeah. Like some attacks are better from the side and the back. I'm like, okay, cool. Which my first note in this thing is the game does tell you some things, just not explicitly, so read your tooltips. That's a big help. Sorry for the sniffling. I'm just congested like hell. Like I'm over the allergies. I can have my window open, but there's just this like little ball that just won't let me breathe when I'm talking.
I have sniffs all the time, but I think it's just because my nose is dry.
That's definitely not dry.
I don't. Well, you're like congested.
Yeah.
My nose, I sniff a lot, but I have sniffles, and I think it's just because it's dry.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, for me, it's because I'm.
Yeah, that's the worst. I hate that.
Yeah. You focus targets being tanked. That's pretty good. Attack and dodge.
Attack and dodge.
And dodge. Don't.
Are we talking about DPS or tank one?
This is still DPS.
Okay.
5 is dealing with ads, and apparently they target the weakest member.
What?
By default.
The weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah.
The black mage.
Or, no. I mean, if they have the least health, I suppose. But yeah, they target the weakest member apparently, so it goes straight for the healer.
Oh, okay, okay, the healer.
You're really bent on pissing people off for this one.
Is it the monk? Is the monk the weakest one?
Yeah, the monk damage. Okay. It's like, oh, this guy's not even a threat. Let's take him out, put him out of his misery. He lost his stacks, which shouldn't even happen anymore. The tank doesn't pick up Jack, so it throws lesson 2 out the window. So it's like, don't attack anything that the tank doesn't attack, except for these things the tank's not going to attack, so that you attack them.
Well, those are special ads.
Yeah, so that's a thing. And then interacting with the environment. You have to close the gate to stop ads from coming in. So it trains you for Sastasha, and that's it.
Except in Sastasha now, you don't even do that. You just wail on the boss. But you used to.
You used to. And then they took that entire mechanic and Leviathan is the only other one that you have to do that in.
Yeah. I like environmental mechanics. We talked about this last time. I want more environmental mechanics
too, but
stuff.
It's just funny to me that like they emphasize it in this, and then it's only for one dungeon ever until you don't even need to fight Leviathan. You fight normal mode for the story, but that's it. You don't have to go into the well, I guess okay, so the story mode you do have to do that.
The story mode is it has like
it still has the same mechanic.
Yeah, it does. And people die to it.
Yeah,
so overall the DPS one, it sounds to me like it's fairly good.
Yeah, it covers things that a lot of people did complain about. Because some people who responded to the tweet that I put out were talking about, I wish they talked about positionals. I wish they talked about this or that. What they don't talk about, which people tweeted at me, is auto attacks. And that was a big thing.
Yeah.
That was a huge issue for me when I started. I talked about it last week. Is that I didn't know how important auto attacks were.
Yeah.
And people were like, some people were like, I thought I had to wait for my auto attack to go out so that I could get the auto attack damage before I used the weapon skill. I didn't know that damage just went through because the animation didn't go
That's kind of how 1.0 worked, if I remember right.
Probably.
I think that's how it worked.
Because that's how it was for
11.
Auto attacks were how you built up TP to use your weapon skills. Now weapon skills are the default, and you just have had a pool of TP that you would go through, and now that was too difficult. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, so they still don't really explain auto attacks. At least auto attacks now will still work no matter which way you're facing. And personally, that made me enjoy melee a whole lot more.
Yeah,
because that was a big reason why I didn't like melee, was because I didn't like missing auto attacks.
Yeah, that was a huge thing that they never touched on, and I was just like embarrassed at my low DPS because I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
I didn't know how to fix it.
You were doing the rotation right.
Yeah,
but you were missing the autos.
Yeah, like I was doing less damage than somebody who didn't even have blood for blood unlocked on the same class, and I was just like, how am I?
That was another thing back in it. Oh my god, I don't want to get started on that.
What, cross classes?
Yeah, the whole cross class thing, where like back in the day where you would have to unlock them, which I actually kind of liked. I thought it was kind of cool. If you wanted to be good, like if you wanted to be a melee and you wanted to be good, you would have to level Dragoon to 34 to get blood for blood.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Black Mage. I didn't, for the longest time on Black Mage, I didn't have quelling strikes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was doing Twintania, and my friend Mel, she was tanking Twintania at the time, and she was getting so angry at me because I didn't have quelling strikes on. So you know, in Twintania you start with all the ads. Mm-hmm. So I would just AoE right at the beginning, and they'd all go to me.
Dude,
so
in T2, I remember I was on Bard because I did the silencing, but like Bard damage was ridiculous because of barrage.
Yeah, like crazy burst.
Yeah, because you're just auto attack. It wasn't just one weapon skill; it was your auto attacks for that entire time, mm-hmm. just triple. Yeah, and just your threat.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I miss cross classes or those things because I like multi-classing. I like RPGs where you have to let you level up one and then you level up another thing and then you get stuff. Mm-hmm. But then the issue that they've had is that at least the community or the atmosphere that Yoshi and the team seems to want to avoid is that you have to have this leveled or you have to have this if you want to be viable, which is kind of true, but there wasn't a whole lot of diversity to begin with, and it wasn't really a very in-depth
people did it anyway
system. But yeah,
the only thing that is segmented was like very new people,
right?
Because then they didn't know.
But I don't know, I really enjoyed that thing. That's why Blue Mage is not an official class or an official job.
We should talk about Blue Mage after 5.1 comes out. I think we should have a show on it.
I would be happy to go into that because I enjoyed the concept of it. I actually need to get back into it. I want to farm some more abilities, but it's hard to get a party together.
I liked it. It's definitely like whatever they add to 5.1, whatever content that is, that's going to determine for me if I like it. Like officially, long term like it.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends on if it's even completely overshadowed. I'm not sure I like Blue Mage content being added to major content. Otherwise, like that matters in the game because we're going to have a lot of big stuff coming out. So there's 24-man. No, like what made Blue Mage really cool when it came out was that there's nothing else going on, so everybody could get together and party up and go out and farm their abilities. Now it's very secondary.
Well, maybe it is like maybe maybe it'll be 5.15. Maybe it'll be the halfway.
So is it just at sometime later?
Yeah. Like by 5.1, they just mean within 5.1.
Oh, okay.
So maybe maybe not on 5.1 day, but maybe like
halfway if they did that, I'd be very happy with it.
Yeah,
I'd be happier because right now that makes me nervous because I'm like I'll want to do Blue Mage stuff, but I won't.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm doing near raid.
Yeah,
like 100 times.
Yeah.
So
near.
So what about the tanks?
Tanks. Dodge AoEs. Lesson number 1. They actually tell you to use your combos for aggro. So you only have a 2-hit combo. I used Paladin, and I did check. Okay, so I checked this. It does not have a different thing for range DPS, melee DPS, caster DPS. It's just DPS.
Yeah, just DPS in general.
Tanks all have the same one. Healers all have the same one.
Yeah, I think that'd be too much work.
So, but in case anybody was like, but what about? Because obviously, Black Mage, Red Mage don't really have rotations. Casters don't really have rotations, but I mean, they have the ideal.
They don't have combos.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's the better way to say it.
Yeah.
Don't have. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
But,
I knew what you meant.
Somebody's going, but actually,
yeah, they're gonna be like, they have rotations. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. No, they have combo.
No wonder he's dead.
Yeah.
Typical nest. They mention your stances in lesson number 2, so they tell you to put on your shield stance, and you just hit a dummy with the combo 5 times, and then you win that one.
With nobody around, just lonely hitting a dummy. Cool.
Yep, just a dummy. So
gotcha.
Number 3, you combo. You're the one comboing a paper towel before it kills your paper towel. So it goes and tries to hit your healer, like immediately, and you have to beat it up before. And it freaks out the second your healer gets hit. It freaks out like your healer getting hit in real life, like in an actual content. It's like, hey, your healer, save him. It's very upset that any harm came to your healer. You must protect.
That ad is looking at the healer. You need to stop it.
Get your shit in gear. It was it was really funny.
That enemy is in the same room as the healer. You need to stop it.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Protect your queen.
And all healers are queens.
It is a female, so I mean, I guess you.
I mean, just all queens, and like even if you're a male, it's queen. I mean, royalty. God damn, fuck. I just mean your healers are royalty. That's what I meant. God, stop, stop. I'm not trying to say anything bad. I'm just saying they're royalty. Okay. Continue.
Oh, okay. I just had to give you shit.
Healers are very important. I love you, healers. You're very important.
Healer pride. You then go into number 4. You go into a dummy room that has, and then you just have to hit all of them with your AOE.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently at level 15 you do have your both your combo for your AOEs. So
all tanks?
I don't know about all tanks, but I did for Paladin.
Paladin does.
Yeah,
that's definitely nice.
So,
the 1-2 hit?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Total
who. I
Eclipse
think it's Dark Knight does not have its second hit for like a long time, which sucks.
Maybe I didn't. Like I said, I felt that the general idea was pretty much covered for all of them. But yeah, so you did that. They talked about that combo a little bit. And I thought that you just had to hit the same dummies over and over. So I spammed it, and once the dummies disappeared, it yelled at me, "Hey, you're supposed to hit the dummies." I'm like, oh, what about all the dummies? Didn't you understand? I'm like, they're not even here. Why am I in trouble? And they'll fail you if you miss enough times. I didn't, but they threaten your good time with that.
Right.
Then you actually AoE enemies that are already focusing on you. And then lesson 6, they tell you not to big pull, which is sacrilege.
What?
They tell you not to big pull. They're like, you don't want to pull an entire room all the time, so go up and shield lob this cluster and then deal with them. And if you
hold on, wait.
And if you do
shield lob,
yeah.
Okay, continue. What were you saying?
If you do pull everything, which I just thought it was you do the big pull, the healer will just stand there and watch you die.
Like if you do pull the whole room,
they
the healer
refuse to heal you. They just sit there. I contemplated letting it die in one of the later ones. They will not heal you.
That's a real person.
Stuck up, entitled little. Yeah, it was.
How did Yoshi P get a real person to work full time as that healer?
That's the person in.
Yeah. What the hell? They pay that guy a lot of money.
Probably. Make sure they never wall-to-wall pull. We want people to spend a lot of time in these dungeons. They have to grind every day. Oh, man.
So I want to say, like, even if you are pulling little, pulling a pack with shield lob, I don't like to do.
No, I don't either.
I like to sprint and do an AoE hit and hit all of them, like let's say it's a pack of 3.
Right.
Even if I'm gonna stop there, which I don't, but even if I would still just run in there and AoE to hit all 3 at the same time.
Absolutely. I would actually prefer if Shield Lob and Unmend and Tomahawk were actually off global. Because
that would be
that's
great.
The reason I don't use it is because it takes so long to get your global back.
Yeah,
so
you're behind.
Threat, and then you're getting hit, and then your healer's hitting it, but then you can't AoE.
Yeah, you have a whole GCD before you could hit the next things.
But I think the goal was to be like, if there's a big pack of shit and you don't want to pull the whole thing, you can Shield Lob and only pull aggro on a few of them.
Right.
Which makes sense in like Sasasha, where they had the huge rooms of them, I guess.
Right.
Back to Sasasha, because there weren't a whole lot of dungeons.
No, I will say, like, maybe the reason why they're saying not to big pull is because in the very early dungeons, there's not always a reason to, because the DPS that you're with don't necessarily all have good AoE. Some like the majority of them do now, but not all of them do. And so, like Sastasha, you're not going to have that. But in general, I would say, even if you're like, this is actually something I would definitely suggest, is even if you're completely brand new to tanking, and if you're completely brand new to a dungeon that you've never done, you can almost always be safe to at least double pull.
Yeah.
Like, just you could pretty much never pull just one mob. You can almost always be safe by just at least going one mob and then the next pack.
Yeah.
If you want to be safe.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. So that's something I would definitely recommend.
Yeah. But I know the purpose was to show that you could split pulls if things were tricky, but like you don't have to face pull everything. But like to straight up not even heal the tank for like,
that's hilarious.
It was so freaking catty. I was like,
that's so funny. I love that they did that. I love that.
Yeah, it just they won't. They just stand. And they don't even take their weapon out. They're just like, they look at you, but they're just standing there. They're just like, all right, this is. I guess you've chosen death. Like, I don't have clemency yet. I can't do this. I don't have hallowed ground. I really tried. I tried.
Which lesson is this?
This is number 6, and then the final one is number 7.
There's 7 for tanks. No wonder
it's
why people are overwhelmed. Picking up ads is hard.
You let the healer take some damage as revenge, or at least I did. There's no mention of provoke, shirk, or other role skills though. Like in any of these.
That's understandable. That's way too ahead of its time to learn that.
You think so?
To learn tank swapping?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need a tank swap until.
I mean, you don't have to tank swap, but like those functions, there's no option to come in later on.
Well, provoke. It doesn't say anything about provoke at all.
Mm-mm.
I guess that's just a tooltip thing, but maybe it would be helpful to mention provoke, but only to be like, okay, you could, like, if you lose aggro, provoke.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, nowadays you probably won't be losing aggro anyway.
No, it's not as big of a deal. Like, there's nothing. I would definitely recommend for the team to do something at level 50, 60, 70, 80.
See, this is why we need a Hall of the Advanced, or something like that. Yeah, like something that you get like when you're max level, like, and they retroactively do it or something, right? Like, let's say for Shadowbringers, they have when you hit level 80, you get a Hall of the Advanced, and that teaches you the more advanced things, like tank swapping.
Yeah. What I don't understand is why they don't have a UI element. And people say that PS4 can't handle parses, but they have things in the game that calculates your damage. Like, I'm pretty sure in PvP it'll tell you how much damage you did overall.
Oh yeah, no, they absolutely can track damage.
So that's
a choice.
They should at very least have it so that you can see your own damage in things like Stone Sky Sea, because that could be technically the Hall of the Veteran for those things, but they tell you nothing about how you're supposed to do your rotation. It changes up until the point where you hit level 80 in a lot of cases, or max level, or that milestone. So once you hit 50, some classes get their finisher,
right?
Or the thing that's like really important to their rotation, or 60, 70, and so on.
Yeah, I think the whole DPS issue is like probably our biggest issue in this game. Really? So I don't know. I mean, I don't think we will ever get a DPS meter in the game.
Yeah, I just don't. The only excuse they have is they don't want people to be harassed, but people shouldn't be harassed in general. Like, it's not an exclusive thing to.
Yeah.
Like, if people dying, it's not like you needed a parse to see that, so people are still going to get upset over that. It doesn't entitle people to get mad just because they saw that you died.
Well,
either. I don't know if that's a good comparison.
I haven't played other MMOs where the parse is integrated into the game. I think WoW has that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how people treat people in accordance with
its own beast. Like, entirely. Like, people can be just real messed up in general.
Well, that comes with the fact that it's huge.
Yeah.
So the more people you get, the worse people are.
That's true. That's true. The horror stories I do hear, which I will admit, were that people will prefer players who have higher numbers rather than people who are doing mechanics. But I think that's a general stupidity.
In WoW?
In WoW. Like, people who do the mechanics right, but sacrifice their DPS to do those mechanics, are cut before the people who are dying to mechanics just because they have higher numbers.
They're less desirable, even though they're doing the fight.
Yeah, and anybody,
well, no, maybe
that's. Hold on. Else has had.
That might be. Yeah, check chat. But
see what you guys think.
What you just said there might be an indication of how the content in WoW works, because from what I know is World of Warcraft content, the mechanics are not necessarily as intricate as ours. Their difficulty is different than our difficulty. A lot of their difficulty is in damage, from what I've heard. Obviously I haven't played it, but this is from what I've heard.
The WoW content is more tank and spank.
Yeah, like from what I've heard in general of WoW is that yes, it's more tank and spank, and it's more of just about dealing more damage, and not necessarily that most bosses in the game have a lot of mechanics. Like even our dungeon bosses have mechanics.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, or what I've heard, is that like a WoW dungeon, the bosses don't necessarily have mechanics. It's just tank and spank.
Okay. Yeah. WoW has an extremely gimmicky mechanics. You have this dance.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like we're just essentially thinking of this of like what the culture is like around having a DPS meter in the game, and I really do think in our game it would actually hurt the game if we had the DPS meter in, if only for, I think people are already shitty to people with just FF logs, and I think it would make people even more shitty to people.
I guess I don't participate in many pug groups, so I don't have that real experience. But
yeah, dude,
at least
in pug groups, like people will go to, like, if you're going to join a party finder, people will search up the party finder person on FF logs, and then they will determine if they're going to even join the party in the first place, depending on if that party leader has good FF logs or not.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
My FF logs are hidden, so I don't know what people are joining my party for. But dude, it's and same thing in reverse. If you're you'll get party leaders that will be doing a raid, and they will look up the people that join on FF logs, and if they're bad, they'll kick them.
Yeah, I've seen some of that too. I've heard of that, and I understand, like, people like that definitely should face repercussions, but at the same time, like FF logs and parsers, some people think they're annoying. They helped me so much, like, improve as a player.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very important tool too.
It's a double-edged sword, I suppose. So I don't know how they would go about balancing it, but I still am a proponent of having something in there to be like, to at least, if you're looking at yourself in Stone Sky Sea, not necessarily having it calculate your damage per second, but like, you did this much damage in this amount of time with the rotation that you were using. Yeah, kind of a thing. But they're not, they don't explain things like dot ticks, so it's hard to determine what's better or not. When, like, say for Black Mage, if you get, I think, 4 dot ticks before you use your Thundercloud proc, hitting that Thundercloud proc is better than hitting a Fire 4. So using your Sharpcast on Thunder 3 is better than doing it on a Fire 1.
Yeah. Well, there's another thing with dock ticks, and this is actually like a question that I've seen throughout the entire time and years that I've played this game is if I do a buff and then put my dots on, how does that work?
Yeah.
It's dot snapshotting.
Yeah, right.
Is not explained in the game.
Yeah, that's one thing that I actually had when they introduced Iron Jaws in Heavensward. I thought that if you ever didn't refresh after you put on your buffed dots,
that it would keep it.
Yeah,
I thought so too.
I thought that would be
right away. This is what I thought.
That's what I was like. Is this how it works? Is this how? Because I felt so bad when I missed it after my buffs weren't up anymore. I was like, oh,
that's exactly what I thought. I thought because the wording on it says extends buffs.
Right.
And because I played so much Summoner, Contagion back in the day, the wording on Contagion was extend buff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you did Raging Strikes and so your dots were buffed, not bots were duffed. If your dots were buffed with Raging Strikes, and then after you would hit Contagion, it would extend it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that Iron Jaws worked the exact same way.
Yeah,
it would just extend it.
So does it do that on Summoner? Like it keeps the buffs?
Old Summoner
does.
Contagion doesn't do that anymore.
That's right.
Contagion is deleted.
Right. I haven't played Summoner at all. So people have been asking me, "What do you think about Summoner changes? Are you excited for Summoner changes?" I'll wait until Larry. I can talk to Larry.
Did you level Summoner at all yet?
No, I'm still trying to get Paladin.
Get out of my house.
I haven't done.
Get out of my house.
People ridiculed me for my gear when I was in like.
Get out of my. What level are you?
70.
Do you have Bahamut unlocked?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No.
You didn't even do the level 70 job quest.
No, I did. Oh wait, I did. Okay.
I did. Get out of my house.
I did. I have level 70. Okay. I did because I did the whole thing where he's like, he summoned himself.
Oh,
sorry.
It says frames are dying.
Frames are dying.
Uh-oh. Well, we're recording. Maybe Eva went upstairs and she hit the start streaming button.
Oh.
No, I don't know. Frames are dying apparently. We're getting some lag. Now it's back. Eva, stop uploading. Eva, this internet sucks here. Eva, stop uploading.
Oh my
Eva.
God.
We could just take our break now.
I didn't know. She's pulling a Choco.
All right. We're just gonna take our break here.
Okay. Big thank you to Very and to Tess and Twin Tails for this artwork. Really appreciate you guys. Go ahead and check them out while we go and beat Eva up and stuff her in the closet or something until she learns her lesson.
We'll be back in like 5-10 minutes.
Okay, bye.
For now.
And
we're back.
All right, I hit the button now. I'm not muted anymore.
Yeah,
Won't have that issue that never actually did happen.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I wanted to talk about real quick the story. So a couple weeks ago, I had we brought over. Was it last week? No, I think it was a couple weeks ago. We brought the girls over because Eva's mom was visiting. And
yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. She was playing Carmen Sandiego with us, so I was the bad guy. She was putting me in jail. So she locked me in this bathroom that's attached to Larry's office, and Larry was her henchman or the player. He was helping her out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a door. There are two doors going into this bathroom. So it's one from the hall or one from the main area, and then one from the
This
office.
is the second door.
So they shut the door from the main area, and I'm like, oh, he knows that I can just get out of here, and that'll be funny. So I come out the side door and I go around and I just kind of sneak around back, and Larry, you were having like an actual heart attack.
I was like,
from me popping out, just like imagine from his point of view, he shuts me in and then I just come walking out of his office. You're standing by the door like holding your chest like, oh my goodness.
He went into my bathroom and came out my office, and I was just like, how did he do that? I completely forgot that this door existed right here.
You go out the door.
This is a door to the bathroom. I always leave it locked. I forgot about it. So yeah, that happened.
Oh man.
So anyway,
That was really funny.
So what overall, but pretty much like with the whole of the novice thing, overall it does a decent job at explaining the basic things of an MMO, but not a super in-depth job of everything you super need to know.
Yeah, I think that one person brought up that you know, they didn't know how important job quests were, and I think a lot of us kind of fell into that trap because they used to unlock skills. Sometimes they still do.
Well, now I definitely understand that, because when I started, I didn't necessarily know about that. I only knew about it because I looked up a guide.
Yeah,
that's the only way that I knew it existed.
Yeah, I don't know if they actually mention it.
Now they do.
Now they do?
Yes. Now in the MSQ, like there's a pop-up in the top of the screen for that follows your MSQ, and now that will show your job.
That's right. You have a job quest available. Make sure you go. Yeah. So they'll tell you now.
Yes.
They are important. If you ignore that prompt, that's on you.
Yes.
But they do give you abilities now. And they used in the last expansion, they gave you your gear at the end. So you'd have to. That's how you got your chest. That was your starting gear. Now you have it crafted from Geralt to Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
So, but you still do have to finish at least one of those quest lines to unlock it, which I haven't finished the tank one yet. I need to do that. Still, that's the only one I haven't done, I think.
The tank roll? Wait, for
tank
Shadowbringers,
roll.
You mean?
Yeah, Shadowbringers.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I did melee, I did healer, did I do range? I think I did range with Black Mage.
Dude.
And then, yeah, I haven't done tank yet.
Do it.
You
literally need to.
Yeah.
That was like, I rushed, like the way that me and Eva were planning about how we were leveling our characters. We were like, we just need to get one of each.
Yeah.
But because of the final story quest.
Yeah, I want to get to that.
That's so important.
Yeah. So I haven't done that yet. So I'll do that.
Very exciting.
But they did at least mention that. Let's see here. Let me go through. I think I had more responses on mine. I do like this response though. That
what is this about though? This is about when people started the game.
Yeah. What do you think should have been explained earlier on by the game?
Okay.
And this one is from at Vash the Gamer. Says a reason to care about the Ossians before Shadowbringers.
No, that's good. It's good how it's like that. Anyway,
I just thought that was cute.
What I would say was the game didn't tell me how much fun I would have.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah. The friends I would make and the experiences we would share.
Yeah, it didn't tell me about all the friends I would make.
Yeah, I love this. Somebody's like, how hard healing is late game? And Muni is just like, what? Like just question marks, a series of question marks. Like, hello?
See, this is definitely something that I see a lot of, is like somebody who's new to healing, or just like I was gonna say mediocre, but that's mean. Somebody who is average, like the average healer will see healing as fairly challenging, but once you pass a certain level, there's like a threshold, and you pass this threshold of healing ability, and then healing becomes the most boring thing you could ever imagine.
Yeah, no, my health bar is collateral damage as far as Sophie's concerned. Like in regards to her parse, my losing health is just, I mean, I get that's just what happens. Just stay closer.
Right.
I have a clip of that in E3 where I'm just like not getting heals for this whole time, and she's just DPSing away, glaring away, and I'm just like, please help. She's like, you didn't eat food. And I was like, don't you dare.
I calculated you needed 3% more HP and you didn't have it.
I love Sophie. She's been a great addition to the group. That was just that's what I teased her about. I was like, I love seeing my health go down proportionally,
right,
or inversely as her parse goes up.
It
was so
see, this
funny.
That's another thing too. It's like healing in, even if you are skilled, like if you're like the pinnacle, a world first raider. If you're a world first raider in a healer in that group, even if you go into like a pug of like the worst players ever, I'm sure healing is fun for you. But if you're in a farm group with your static and all of them are super skilled, I'm sure healing is fairly boring.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Like for me, healing is pretty fun almost always because I'm bad. So
I had that thought because I was doing an expert dungeon, and this tank just like their health dropped like a rock,
and you
like,
panic.
out of nowhere. And I was like, wait a second, this isn't supposed to happen. I'm supposed to get at least 3 more holies off before I have to worry about you. I had to actually hit benediction. I was very thrown off. I was like, what is this about? Why do I actually have to exert myself as a white mage?
Right.
The truest form of power.
My advice to those raiders like Miyuni on the Miyuni level is just get worse at the game, and healing will be more fun to you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just get a worse group.
Just play worse.
Yeah, or party up with Corey, and he'll, as soon as you heal him up, he'll hit super and go to 1 health.
I have this cool ability actually on my Gunbreaker. It's called my die move.
Your die,
and my die move is it's a macro, and what the macro does is it will push Superbolide, and then 1 second later it will deactivate Superbolide.
Yeah, right. Yes, brother, I'm talking shit. It's my favorite freaking moment, just hearing Jesse lose his mind. I think he did it a few times in E3. So I'm really excited to edit that again. But I don't think you know where I live yet. You will as soon after on Sunday.
He'll know where I live too.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh shit.
So oh, that's right, he does have the address. I had things mailed to me before. So yeah. I love that. Super. I really hope that becomes a meme. As much as actually I was gonna bring this up for our memes bit. That oh gosh.
Well, we could talk about that stuff anytime throughout the show.
Did I save it? I don't think I saved it. But it's that somebody made. Are you aware of the Goose game?
Yes, I need to play that game.
I wanted to make a video, but I think that would be a good video for your channel.
Yeah, I want to make a video about it.
But somebody made an edit with Sam's face on it, thinking about the limit break button, and the goose running away with the limit break button.
Oh no! This, if anybody's not aware, this is referencing when they were progging Titan,
like world progging
progging Titan, and they were like LB, and he's like, fuck, I got the LB off the board.
Yeah, he clicked it so fast he didn't have his bar locked. Clicks LB, drags it off, and it disappears into the sunset. And he just goes, fuck, damn it, fuck. What's wrong, LB? Fuck, I can't. I took it off my bar. Fuck. Oh my! I don't like. I'm not laughing that he got mad because I would be so freaking stressed out in that situation. But it was such a memeable moment. It was so. There are clips of it out there. If anybody has it, let me know and I'll try and give you permissions.
Absolutely beautiful.
It was so fucking funny. That was really funny. Yeah, Tate has an actual.
Yeah, he put an emote of it. It was that iconic.
Emote, yeah. Him taking it off his bar. Oh my goodness. Oh. Right. So speaking of rating,
that is Sam's legacy, honestly. And I'm sorry if you don't know who Sam is, but Sam is a good friend of ours. So
yeah, he's in Tate's group. I don't know. Is he rating with Tate again this time? I think they offered me his spot in the group. After
you stealing Sam's spot after he dropped the ball on the LB?
No, I think he left. So they're like, we have a DPS or a melee spot open if you want it.
Yeah,
just because I'd figured out all the hard mechanics in the tier 1. And what's this tier called? Eden's Gate?
For World Prog, you mean? Like for when they do their next tier, you want to do it with them?
I want to, but I can't. There's no way I could stay away from my family for 18 hours at a time.
That's my issue too. Like, I want to do Ultimate really bad because I'm sure the next one, I'm sure it's going to be cool. We don't even know what it is, but I'm sure it's going to be cool. Like, if the new Ultimate ends up being like freaking Thornton or something, I'm going to be like, dude, I want to do it, but I can't. Like, yeah. It's such a big time commitment.
It's a huge time commitment. It's rough. I mean, kudos to people who have families that can do it. I don't know if anybody does have a family that can do it. That'd be interesting to know. But
people do. Yeah, people do. I know a few that they have families and they do it, but everybody's situation is different, you know.
Mine certainly, like my wife really does want, like, Jessica really wants to be supportive of it and be like, oh, that would be cool, but I don't think I could last having this temperamental baby. And
with a baby, that's definitely much harder.
Yeah, if they were young kids, like both just like 4 or 5, it would be easier.
Yeah,
because there's a way to entertain them. Yeah, but I'd still need to take breaks every now and then to like show them that I'm still alive, because my daughter just can't. They both hate it when I'm not.
Yeah, you would need like you don't. Ultimate doesn't need like long hours. Like when we were doing UCOB, my group, it was a lot of hours in the week, but not all at one time. It was like 4 days a week for like 4 hours or something like that. Yeah, is how we cleared it, and we did it in like a month. So 4 days a week for 4 hours, that's like a part-time job.
Yeah, but if you're like for a World Prog, you're dedicating like 12 to 18 hours.
Oh, if you're doing World Prog Ultimate, that's like another level.
Yeah,
that's completely different.
But they're like, do you want to? I was like, that sounds like fun, but yeah, I love my girls. I'd miss them too much.
No, dude, World Prog Ultimate is you're figuring out the mechanics.
Yeah,
so that's a completely different level. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't even do that. But
I like that, but it might be a different thing.
I do too, but not for Ultimate.
Not for Ultimate, yeah.
No, that's a very, very big time commitment for that. For Savage, absolutely, I could like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I guess that would be a good segue into like the more advanced ways of how to get good. Like, I guess we could talk about like our experiences of how we got good.
Yeah. So
how we became the best raiders in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. My videos are actually guides on how to do.
Mine too.
See, you guys.
Every single one of our videos is guides.
Yeah, the best guides. Don't watch anybody else. We got
of what not to do.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. Mine are flawless. I'm showing you exactly everything that you can die to. That's the whole purpose.
And
how
I'm
would
showing
you know
you
what to avoid?
What not to do.
Yeah.
Don't push this button.
Don't take it off your bar.
Mm-hmm.
My blue guide. I'm glad you like the blue guide. Blue man. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your gratitude.
Yes. So I guess we could talk about like how we first started the game and what our approach was to be like. Because I would say that if you want to get good at the game, it takes a certain kind of person. It takes a mindset of you want to be good. Because if you don't want to be good, you're not going to be good. You don't care.
Yeah, I think that kind of applies to most things. Like, so my other guilty pleasure is fighting games. And when you start off a new one, it can be really tough because you don't know the mechanics and like how things are supposed to work. But if you put in that little bit of effort to figure out, oh, you punish this is how you counter this is how you do a combo, and all those things, you get a lot better at it, because then it's just fundamentals in your head. And you can even start figuring out things on your own with a character without a combo guide to go off of. So like for Tekken, it's very character based, combo based. So I have fun just going in with like a random character that I'm interested in and figuring out what am I going to do to like get the right damage. And that one has a little parser that'll show you how much damage you're doing.
Yeah, so I pick the character that looks cool and I mash the buttons until I find the abilities that look cool to me. But that's not how I approach MMOs.
Yeah,
that's like that's different.
I think,
at least for me,
right? I mean, are you going to say you didn't pick Summoner for the dong?
Well, yeah, but not for the dong. No, I mean, actually, hold on, wait. Yeah, no, you're right. I pick jobs in MMOs solely for what looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But going off of what you said, once you have the mindset of I want to improve, and then once you actually figure those things out, they're different things. Just because you want to learn doesn't mean you're going to. Because for me, things just weren't intuitive in Final Fantasy XIV. Because
did you play other MMOs before?
Mm-hmm. But they weren't combo style type target MMOs.
maybe that's
Actually,
maybe
11
that
was
hurt
target.
you then.
It did in a little bit because I didn't know what to expect. So I went in thinking auto attacks were your main source of damage because it was a Final Fantasy MMO, and that's what I went through in 11. And I didn't know about tooltips. Like I knew how to read a thing's description, but not what everything meant. Like combo action from this is a new thing that I didn't know. Combo action into this, combo potency, positional potency, all that stuff are things that I had to digest on my own that I kind of got, but I didn't quite figure out how to put together a full rotation with like buff timings and all that stuff until somebody told me I was bad for not doing it.
What were you playing when you first started, Monk?
Monk, yeah. Which is the most heavily oriented towards positional. So I was just doing like boot shine combo into just because I could stay in the back, or like or was I doing dragon kick because it looked cooler? But anyway, I didn't want to go back and forth.
You went all the way up to level 50 without like fully knowing. Oh wow.
Yeah. So like,
yeah, that's interesting.
I would do it every now and then, but like at a certain point, I thought, oh, I've got dragon kick now. This is just an alternative combo. I don't have to deal, because I was so mad at demolish because I'd been wanting like something like 100 fists for a while. Even whether it be like speeding up my attack animations or just a full-on barrage, which I still want. If they did a channel attack where you just that would be amazing.
Dude,
that's what I want for Monk.
That would be cool.
I have a whole thing of what I want, where I want Monk to go, even though it's in a really good spot right now. But
you mean just aesthetically?
Yeah, like and how to kind of make it flow, how to make the chakra system a little bit more like the other jobs, because I think that the other jobs do a good job with it, like with the gauges
of like a resource.
Yeah, having a making the resource a little bit more intuitive, having giving it a different style of ramping. Anyway, it kind of goes off, but I was really upset that demolish was a dot. So I like did demolish.
Wait, why?
Because it's called demolish. It's this 5-hit combo, and then it does like 30 damage, and then the main damage is from the dot. So
you mean just from the name demolish? You were
and
like,
the name, the animation, the feel, like it has everything that's like really good. Like
it's just a dot. It's
just a dot. And so I'm like, I think I'm gonna do this big freaking hit, and it's just like,
what a nerd.
I was so upset, and people were just like, yeah, it's a dot, it's fine. I get it.
Well, you know, technically the potency on it was probably the highest.
It is. Oh, it certainly is.
It's a dot.
It's one of the strongest attacks in Monk's kit.
But it's just over time.
Yeah. It drove me up a wall.
I can understand that.
To be honest,
so that was
I want it to look like BDO. I do want more action combat games, but
not in 14.
Not in 14.
I don't need this game to be an action combat game. That's not what it is.
That is my preferred method, but that's a whole other thing of, you know, preferred and, you know, how it works, because the game's combat isn't, to me, fun because of how flashy it is, even though the animations are beautiful. The fun comes from learning the fight with a group.
Yeah,
that's my idea of fun. But if you're just going through a dungeon and just doing a basic rotation, it's not really.
Yeah, the fun of this game is learning the jump rope.
Yeah.
So you would say that, like, the way that when did you start wanting to learn, though?
As soon as people in my free company at the time, before I had made my own, like started criticizing what I was doing wrong.
When was that? What were you doing?
I was in Wanderer's Palace. I remember this it was like on the first or second poll.
Yeah.
And people were like, why aren't you doing your boot shine combo or whatever? And I was like, because it's easier just to stay on the side. And I don't have to worry about the dot. And they're like, just stay on warrior. And I was like, wait, why?
Just be a warrior.
Yeah, just be a warrior. They're like, you need to do your rotation. And that's the first time I'd ever heard that, you know. And, you know, I got defensive a little bit for some people. I didn't even know I should hit, like, off global or buffs on off global. Like, that was something that was not trained in me. So, like, I would just forget that it came up. And I wouldn't hit them and stuff like that. And people were like, that's bad.
That's interesting to me. It definitely is a different approach for me, because when I started the game, I just looked up. I was like, okay, I just want to be a magic user, because that's usually what I pick in MMO is a caster. So I was like, okay, black mage. So I was Black Mage, and I looked up a video, and I don't remember who it was, I really don't remember, but whoever it was a video from very, very, very early days, and they were talking about how they were like, okay, I figured out a rotation for Black Mage, and by doing this rotation, I'm able to keep my mana up always. I'm always able to keep my mana. I will never run out.
Oh, no.
So I was like, oh, that's what I do. I can always keep my mana up. So I started playing the game like that. And I don't necessarily remember, but I think it was in general using a lot of ice spells.
Yeah.
To keep my mana
Ice
up.
Mage.
I think I was alternating between fire and ice like too quickly.
Yeah.
Because
okay,
usually what you would do is fire, 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 switch to ice.
Yeah.
And then fire, 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 fire. I was alternating.
Ice Mage.
Right, because I never wanted my mana to fall down.
Yeah. Which is, intuitively what you would expect, right?
Right. So that initially that's what I expected. Then I got to Sastasha. I go in with my friend Christian. Christian is a Black Mage. I'm like, this is my very first dungeon in an MMO. I don't know what to expect. So we go on voice chat. I start doing Fire 2 because I'm like, oh, Fire 2 is AoE. It's a bunch of mobs. I should AoE, right?
Yeah.
My friend Christian says, don't use Fire 2. I was like, why? He's like, because I was pulling aggro on everything.
Okay.
Because using Fire 2.
Right.
And he was like, you shouldn't do that. You're taking aggro from the tank. Stop using Fire 2. So I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'll use some Fire 1. So I started using Fire 1 on mobs, which is not right. You should be using Fire 2.
Yeah.
But whatever. So yeah, a few dungeons later, I'm like, I should probably be using Fire 2. So then I looked up a guide. It was probably like the second dungeon, whatever that is. Karn. Not Karn. Tamtara or something.
Yeah.
Tamtara, I think.
Yeah.
One of those. It's the second dungeon. Level 18, whatever it is. Then I looked up a guide and I was like, okay, I want to get good at the game. I want to be informed because people are telling me what to do and it doesn't feel right. Because I had a whole bunch of people telling me what to do with Black Mage and I was like, none of these feel right. So then I looked up a guide and from then on I was just like learning on my way. I just like learned the basics. I learned how Astral Fire worked. I learned how Umbral Ice worked. I learned that all of your damage is from fire. I learned that you regen MP by going Umbral Ice and all that stuff. So, and then I just adapted it as I went. So I'm usually the type of person that I will research things a lot when I get into it if I want to be good at it.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like that's like a really big thing with this game is if you want to be good at it, you have to research a lot.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think that I don't know if it really should be the case. That's why I'm hoping that they do something with either job quests or they rework Stone Sky Sea or have Hall of the Veteran where you go in there and you kind of refine yourself in your rotation and figure out, what's the best thing to do in these certain situations. But yeah, you still need to have that hunger at the very least to do it.
You do, but like think of any other game in existence, like just any kind of competitive game. Like the game doesn't necessarily teach you how to get good at it. You got to go watch YouTube videos of people to learn how to get good at it.
Yeah. The thing that I just try and for most games, in Final Fantasy, maybe it's just that the level we're at right now, it just seems very. Once you kind of figure out how your job is supposed to work and you figure out how the fights go, then it's just a matter of putting the pieces together and then you figure it out. I don't feel like maybe I get a piece of advice from somebody like, oh, try this. I'm like, oh, that makes things easier. But I don't feel that it's quite as required to look up guides anymore.
Today?
Yeah, for at our
level. You mean
level?
for you?
Yeah, for us right now.
Yeah. No, for me, I pretty much will never really look up a guide. Something I was actually going to say with this whole conversation is like, I don't know how we could possibly talk about getting good without mentioning the balance Discord, because I do reference that from time to time as well. Which if you guys want to look it up, I think it's just called thebalance.com, or if you just Google FFXIV The Balance, you could find it. But they have a Discord for literally every single job, every single role, and they'll have guides and they have mentors in there, and you could go in there, you could ask questions about a job specifically. Like if you really want to improve, that's the best place to go. And it's good for referencing an opener.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I will do. Is my approach to learning a new job is I will level it all the way up to 80. I'll be looking at the tooltips along the way, and when I reach 80, I'll re-look at all of them, and I'll be like, okay, I'll try to put a general rotation together, and then I will go to the balance and look up an optimized opener,
right,
and base everything off of that.
Yeah. Okay, I will have to rescind that because I did watch a guide to like figure out what was the optimal opener, and I think I had somebody from the Balance Discord approach me and be like, "Which one are you using?" And be like, I think I'm doing the Blizzard 4 one. They're like,
for Black Mage.
Yeah. But then they were like, oh, try the non-Blizzard 4 one, or this is a non-Blizzard 4 one. Try that. And like it actually does more damage, and it fits in so much better with every fight in Eden.
Most fights. Yeah.
I think every fight in Eden is better with the non-Blizzard 4 one.
Yeah,
for me.
Yep, it would actually, it reduces you by a few GCDs.
Yeah, so you get right into it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're gonna lose a few, just from Titan at the very beginning. You have to move a few times, so you're clipping quite a bit. So, but you can still squeeze out your
yeah.
Spare.
I actually, for Black Mage, I actually rarely Blizzard 4. I only Blizzard 4 if I need filler. Actually. Which is a weird thing, because I know a lot of people will just, every single time they'll Blizzard 4 when they get to ice rotation. I won't do that. I will only Blizzard 4 if I need to fill to have time for my MP to refill.
Really?
Yeah, I just won't ever do it.
Oh. I typically try to do it every time. But that sometimes leads me to lose.
I don't necessarily know if... Wait, what are you? You're Aura, right? I don't know if this matters anymore, but you used to have to be a Makote, the round-eyed Makote, the moon Makote, or a Dunesfolk, Lala, to have enough mana for all the fires that you need.
Oh yeah, I don't think, because you just have a flat amount of mana now.
Yeah, now it doesn't matter, but it used to matter.
Yeah,
but anyway,
which I think is a cool part of RPGs.
Yeah, that was cool. I was like, that's why I turned into that specific Makote, because look wise I would have been the Makote with the cat eyes, but because the Makote with the round eyes got more MP, I went with them.
See, I love that shit, but no, they don't do that anymore.
But yeah, so like that's definitely a little thing, like with Black Mage, like even though there's a rotation, it's like, at least to me, Blizzard 4 is kind of like, I only do it if I get an MP tick and it's not gonna be full, I will Blizzard 4. But if I'm gonna be full, I'll just start Fire 3ing, and then my MP will tick and I'm full by the end of the Fire 3.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Yeah, I have a really hard time with server ticks giving me my mana back. I hate it. Yeah, I usually use Xenoglossy. That's how I fill.
Yeah,
typically. But maybe I'll start doing that. That would make things a lot more streamlined. For sure. Well,
usually like definitely the thunder, of course, like if you need to. If you don't need to thunder, like if you had a thunder cloud, you could thunder cloud and Xeno, and then you could Fire 3 and you're good. You don't need to do the Blizzard 4. Or if you didn't need to thunder at all because you just did a thunder cloud, you could Blizzard 4 Xeno, or just a Blizzard 4 and Fire 3 is sometimes enough. Yeah. So yeah, it's just, you just the Blizzard phase is the part where you got to be flexible and just learn. Is like, okay, what did I do? What do I need to do? Is my mana tick quick or is it late? Those are the things.
That's And oh my gosh, I hate server ticks so much.
I like that part.
I hate server ticks so much, because I'll be sitting there for what seems like just 6 seconds to get my entire thing, and I'm just sitting there like, give me my mana so I can do the damage, please.
Yeah. So that's the other thing I will say is if you go into Blizzard with no mana, like if you did a Despair and you go into Blizzard with no mana, I'm sorry, Umbral Ice, then yes, you have to Blizzard 4 immediately, because that's how you do the casting.
Yeah,
I could be completely wrong. I don't know. Maybe somebody from the Balance Discord is like, Larry, shut the fuck up. But this is what I used to do, and so I just have brought it over from expansions because it used to be like that. So
yeah, I'm not sure how detrimental it is to not get those 3 those three.
It's not.
Six.
It's not. It's the same thing of mana. Your mana essentially, and your Umbrella shit, and your all those things. They don't necessarily matter. What matters is how much damage you put out per second.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter that you have more mana, unless that mana. This is complicated, but this is a complicated topic. Yes, this is another thing for AOE. AoE Black Mage wants to just do flares.
Yes.
You just want to do as many flares as you can.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to get your mana up to do fire 2s.
Correct.
Your DPS is not measured by how much mana you have. Your DPS is measured by how many big spells you get out.
Yeah. Well, that's my point of having the more mana from the Umbral. Is it the Umbral? What do you call it? The Umbral Hearts?
Yeah, Umbral Hearts, yeah.
Yeah. So you get more Fire 4s out in that span of time rather than having to wait for your mana to come back.
Right.
That's
Right.
the thing where I was like, that's typically where I'm getting hung up on.
That is definitely beneficial if you have buffs. If you don't have buffs, raid buffs up at the time, you don't necessarily need those Astral Hearts as long as your mana was full. Just complicated.
Yeah. I remember we had
this is very high level.
Yeah, we were talking about even before the Fire 3 versus, or the Fire Starter proc versus Thundercloud, and like how to do that. Because what bothers me is that right now Thundercloud doesn't last as long as Thunder 3. So that was my thing of like, when is it beneficial just to send it out rather than wait on the proc?
From my understanding with Thunder, obviously I'm not a Black Mage main and I'm not super knowledgeable on it, but from my understanding, the way that you treat Thunder is you either need to refresh Thunder when the dot is at 3 seconds and you have to manually cast it, or you when your Thundercloud proc is at 3 seconds, then you throw it out. Otherwise you're holding on to it. You don't care if it overwrites, you just hold on to it. That's my understanding of it.
You hold on to it? Like,
yes.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, that's weird to me because that's not what I used to do. But from my understanding, the only time that you refresh your Thunder is if the timer on the boss is at less than 3 seconds, or if your Thundercloud is at less than 3 seconds. That's when you use it.
Well, yeah. So if your Thunder, so are you saying like if your Thundercloud is running out, but you still have like 6 seconds, which is typically
that doesn't matter. Yeah, if your Thundercloud is running out, you use it.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I agree with. Because honestly, it does, like I said, more damage than a Fire Starter with like 4 or 5 ticks, and that's it. And also, I think Black Mage is one of the only ones that its AOE does more damage to 2 targets. Like it's worth using AOE on 2 targets. Thunder 4 is better than 2 Thunder 3s, I think.
Yes, for that, yes.
For like
there's
even
a
one
few
for the ads there. That's what I.
There's a few instances where like alternatives are better. Like for instance, Samurai. I don't remember their names, but the big ones, Gurren.
Gurren's the AOE.
What's the single target name?
Sene.
So if it's 2 targets, you use Gurren no matter what.
Yeah.
For most jobs, 3 is the tipping point.
Yeah,
but
3 or
for
4,
some jobs, like for certain abilities, it'll be 2 is the tipping point where you use the AOE version.
So, yeah, it's this is the level of discussion that we normally have, and to raiders, it's typically not very. This isn't out of the ordinary. It's a pretty standard conversation. Other people might be like, fizzing out.
This might be a little, for a lot of people, this might be a little overwhelming, I suppose.
But it's a good thing, because if you like, even if we're not the best, we are the best. But even if we weren't, we're still we're still at a point that maybe you want to get to. And so these are the things that, like I said before, once you start to understand things about the job, you can start figuring things out on your own without help. Things like, how much damage is being calculated, and the benefits to doing this thing or that based on the situation. Those things, if you keep them in mind and you go forward, you may not be doing the most optimal, but you'll be on the right track. And then that'll leave you some room to like have discussions with people and have an understanding to gain something from the higher end guides and stuff like that. So I think it's good to at least hear, because I'll watch, like for Tekken, I'll be watching World Finals or something, or Evo Final 8, Top 8, and I won't know all these like crazy I won't know how to counter this person or like all the like nuanced things, but I'm still watching and I'm like learning a little bit of like, oh, that's how they move, that's how they interact and stuff like that. And so different in an MMO setting, but it's still things that got to keep in mind. But one of the things you talked about was like figuring out raid mechanics, going in blind, being able to do that. That's one of the things we talked about.
Well, this actually tied into also just like I want to say like when you get into learning a job and becoming good at a job, like let's say for instance you want to become good at samurai, right? You just have to learn what all of the tooltips on samurai says, and you have to understand why things fit the way they do, instead of what I feel like a lot of people do is when they learn a new job they'll just go on the balance Discord, look up an opener and memorize an opener. Like they'll just memorize it and then they'll execute that and then just do whatever happens afterwards, whatever lights up. But what you really need to do is just understand why those things are in that order and why you're doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Because that will allow you to adapt that to any kind of situation.
Right.
So when you get into like a 2-target situation or an ad is coming up or movement is happening or downtime is happening, the way to become like a very good player is you adapt the things that you understand about how the job works to those new situations. So this also applies into how to learn new encounters, is understanding how the game works and then adapting that to the new encounters that you, the familiar things that you see.
Yeah, definitely. One of the thing that stands out first is with it was Neo X Death, and the opener I used, I think I was using the 1 cent opener, and that one, knowing the option between the 3 and the 1 cent opener, the 1 cent worked out so perfectly with Neo X Death because I could
Stormblood.
This is Stormblood.
Okay.
So this is back a ways.
Yeah.
But the way that I could do it is that if I got to the boss in time, I could back up right before he did his little AoE in the front.
Right. Exactly.
And Samurai Works, the kit is just so well done. Like the back up, then you get an empowered range attack. That's still my favorite interaction in the game because it just works so intuitively. So I could jump back, get my attack off, the attack would go out, we'd get our heal, and then I go right back to the boss and continue my rotation. It worked so well. It felt so satisfying. So understanding like your options, maybe it's not doing the most DPS, but you're getting more uptime overall.
So that is more DPS.
In the end. Yeah. But on paper, if you're just looking at, well, this one does more DPS, but are you getting that full opener? Right. So having to adapt a little bit, even if you're losing your burst or whatever, if you're still doing consistent damage, that's better than doing potentially more, but not actually being able to carry it out or setting yourself up.
It's per fight.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But that's the same thing as going into mechanics, is like learning how an experienced player will go into a new fight is like, okay, they understand how certain mechanics look, so they will look for those signs when going into a new mechanic. For instance, like you go into a new fight and you see this the boss is doing a big cast, and it's like some kind of, it targets somebody and that person instantly dies, right?
Yeah.
So the first thought that would cross my mind in that circumstance is, oh, maybe we have to stack with that person and share the damage, because we already know other mechanics do that type of thing.
Yeah.
So experiences really help you out in learning the fight, or things like spreading out to quadrants is like a really common theme. Like just learning the really common themes of this game.
Yeah, reading debuffs is one of my go-tos. If I don't know what happened, I'm reading the buff or debuff, or going back and figuring out what it is that does, and then trying to figure it out, and then seeing the interaction of how people will have it. Even if you're not a content creator, I would definitely get. Most people have NVIDIA. If you have the NVIDIA experience, just put on Shadowplay. Have it like real short. and just clip it whenever you die to something, and then just go back and review footage.
Are you talking like if you're like raiding like a group of friends or something,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, we don't know, how did we die? We don't know. Nobody saw it. You could go back and go watch it.
Yeah, just a minute clip, and that's what I do. Corey gets mad at me every time. He's like, stop spoiling. I'm like, this is how we prog. This is how we figured it out. I don't want to do it like 5 times with people, like only half the group up, because that can be a real issue as well.
Yeah.
Is only half people being alive on E3, that ruins the entire mechanic. If people aren't alive for that part, as soon as it goes in, then it's like I gotta see at least what these things are doing or who has what, and try to figure it out.
Oh yeah, like especially in like certain raids, you'll get to a mechanic and it's like, okay, it's gonna assign, let's say it's like it'll assign a tank, a healer, and a DPS, a certain mechanic, right? But if you got there with only 6 people alive, it's gonna assign 2 DPS and a healer.
Yeah.
And you're gonna think, oh shit, it assigns 2 DPS and a healer. How are we gonna figure this mechanic out? It's kind of random. It's actually not. If you were there with everybody alive, it would always assign a tank, a healer, and a DPS.
Right. So, I mean, just being able to see those things, like you get there with different people alive, or the first time you actually get to there with people alive. I said that. I thought Corey was in here still trying to backbat him. It's always like I put it in the videos all the time. He's like, I'm not being a bodle bitch. Somebody also brought up that PS4 has the clip thing too. So that it's really really handy really handy tools to have and to kind of check out.
That's true.
So yeah, check use those things if you're in raiding. That is a huge help, and it helps you kind of see things in slow motion. Because when you're in the middle of a new mechanic, you're not paying attention to everybody. You're figuring out what's on the screen, what am I doing, what am I, like, just trying to figure out your own thing. Not you can't take everything all in at once.
Yeah.
The first time you see something. So being able to like break it down in a clip is a lot better.
This is a big thing for like pugs too.
Yeah.
Like Party Finder. I don't have too much experience doing that. Like I know a lot of people do it, is they will prog through an entire raid, or they'll try to prog through an entire raid in just Party Finder, and that's a whole different experience than doing it with a raid group. You don't like doing that?
I don't like the notion of a bunch of random people, because they can be the sweetest people, but be so dang like I've had people just die to the same thing over and over. I'm like, I really want to be patient, but I also really want to prog.
Yes, I know. I could definitely say that if somebody wants to pug, because if the reason why you're pugging in Party Finder is because you're short on time and you want to not commit a whole lot of time to the game, but you're still trying to raid in Party Finder, you're actually spending more time than if you just got a static.
Yeah, because honestly, I only play 4 hours a week.
Yeah,
on the game.
I raid 1 day a week with my group, 3 hours, and we proc. We're on Titan now. We beat Leviathan.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm very good at this game. I'm very, very good. So we're on Titan now. Only the best players are on Titan.
You're still on Melee, right?
I'm a samurai.
Okay.
Only the best players play samurai.
I'm debating doing it in just to make Raya like his head explode, because I think he's still got a prejudice against.
What is your comp right now?
Right now we have Dark Knight.
On who's everything? Tate's Dark Knight.
Corey's Gunbreaker.
Yeah.
What's it?
You got White Mage
Sophie. Jesse's Astro. Contemplating suicide by Scholar. I'm on Black Mage. Then
that's your problem right there.
There's nothing wrong with Black Mage.
Continue.
Hang on. There's a lot of electronics here that this cup of water would not interact well with. Super effective.
There are a lot of electronics, and you're sitting right next to my computer, so please do not drop that on the computer.
Then keep your mouth shut. Okay. No, so I'm Black Mage. Got Hans the Dragoon, Raya on Machinist, and what did Choco switch to? I think Choco's still on Bard. But we've only got one melee.
Have you been switching around?
The Riot switched between Dancer and Machinist because
he didn't like it.
Well, E3 doesn't let you improv. There's almost no instance to improv because
to like stand around and dance.
Yeah,
it's like all uptime.
Yeah, the thing improv is for you can't do.
There's a little bit, but probably not enough.
Well, like you got to get lucky with the RNG of the puddles. I have a few clips of him just standing in one. It's like, fuck it, I'm getting my I'm improv. Right, you're in the puddle. I don't care. I just want to dance. I just want to dance. And I'm like, you know what? As somebody with something to stand in, I respect the hell out of that. I don't even feel bad. I got my ley lines, dude.
So right now you got 3 ranged.
We got 3 ranged, 1 DPS, 1 melee DPS.
Well, so 1 melee, 2 ranged, 1 caster.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you went melee, you would be losing out on the caster.
I've got all my caster gear except for my weapon. Like,
when I don't mean that, I mean the bonus. I mean for future tiers.
Yes. My thing was that Raya is like willing to switch between Black Mage and Machinist. Too.
Okay.
So like that would cover it. If I wanted to go melee, then he would just go Black Mage.
Right.
But
I've actually really been enjoying Samurai more than I thought.
Yeah, same for Black Mage. I'm really having a good time with it.
We like switched. That's so strange.
Yeah.
I've been a caster my entire time playing this game.
Yeah, I've been melee at least either a DPS or a tank.
Yeah,
but I've never been, well, except for the very first. Was it? I think second coil. Second coil, I was everything, every DPS. I was a summoner. I was a ninja, monk, and a bard. I did everything.
You're so weird. That's
I did
so
all of
weird
because I had to fill the role of like everything.
I was a black mage.
I just had them leveled.
Yeah, for me, my raid career was I was black mage, and then when I did turn 7 savage, I was like, oh, I need to kite that, so I'll be summoner. I can't kite it on black mage.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'll learn summoner, and then that ended up being good because I learned summoner, and then Heaven's Word came around, and summoner had Bahamut ability, so I was like, okay, I'll be summoner. So I was summoner forever. I was Dark Knight in Gordius, and then I was Dragoon in Ukab, but everything else I was summoner for everything, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. Black Mage and Monk are at the top of the DPS charts right now. I think Monk is at the top at the moment.
And for personal, no, personal is Black Mage. For raid DPS, Monk and Black Mage are very, very, very close in raid DPS. But for personal DPS, Black Mage is highest, and then Monk, and then Samurai.
Until you get to E4.
Because of the movement?
I hate all the movement. I have sacrificed half of my ley lines just for a place to move before, because otherwise it's just it's that, am I going to get more casts out, or am I just going to be running for 6 seconds at a time?
Yeah,
because of a certain mechanic.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there, I don't envy you there, my friend.
It wasn't. Yeah. I was mad. I was more upset during the final phase of E2 on my Black Mage. Yeah. But like learning that was awful. That was horrible. Quietus.
Scathe.
Yeah,
the bane of Black Scathe.
Every time Corey says it, I want to punch him.
just
Scathe, dude. You got Scathe, right? I'm like, yeah, I do. Except I don't. Put that on my bar.
That's not on my bar, bitch.
I think it's off in like the corner. I didn't even know where it was. Samurai, is Samurai better? How's Samurai?
Love Samurai.
I know Samurai feels really good, but like the damage, I heard the damage buff didn't do enough.
Oh, the damage is shit.
Yeah,
gameplay wise, I love it.
Yeah, I really like. I leveled up Samurai first, which gave people like, it bent people's minds because they're like, you said you were going Black Mage. I'm like, I can level 2 jobs. It's not that hard, but I wanted to, like, thematically, canonically, I associate my character more with Samurai than I do Black Mage. But Samurai was a lot of fun. I love double Goken.
Wait, what? Midari Setsugeka?
No, Goken. Like in dungeons.
The AoE one?
Yeah. Like being able to do that twice was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
Big fan of that.
Shoha doesn't suck. It's just
the one
not
thing
as
I would
good
say
right
is
now.
I wish that the one where you do double, the second one, I wish the animation was a little more extreme.
Yeah,
This is just some flavor.
Yeah.
But I want it to be a little more oomph.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a little
Just
added
a
flair.
little more oomph.
Yeah.
That's all. I just want some more oomph.
So
yeah.
for sure, we were talking about what it could be. I still think that it should just be like a 4,000, 5,000 like potency attack at max stacks.
Keep it how it is, but make it really big oomph.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what they want to do, or have it like chakra.
I'm okay with how it is right now. I don't care.
A lot of people are just like really upset. It's like, oh, it's just so lackluster. I'm like, it's a cool animation. It gives you something that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
If it hit harder, it would make sense to me. That's all.
Yeah. If it that
because you're
feel
charging it for like 15 seconds, like 10-15 seconds.
It's the only time I ever get it is during downtime, which I would during downtime I would be meditating anyway.
Right.
So the way I see it is just like, okay, I was doing this anyway. Now I have an extra attack I can do. Maybe, make that attack stronger. I'm not gonna complain about that if they want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but I can't remember. They definitely need to take off I would say they need to take off the timer on it. Like once you have your stacks, you shouldn't have to like use it or lose it, kind of a thing. I think it should. I think
the timer's pretty long though.
Yeah,
I don't really have an issue with it.
I just, for some of them, I feel like if you meditate too early, you can get screwed. I felt that in like at least one.
I don't know. I don't think I ever really lost it because I think it's like 40 seconds or something. It's very long.
It might be. I might be wrong.
Yeah, it's very long. Like I will do it in like Leviathan or something, and I will literally wait on it to like build my other stacks up and make sure I have the damage buff back up before I use it again. And that's a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's too much of an issue.
Well, if it works, then if it works. So let's see. But for I will talk about going back to the raid stuff because I was the one in our group that figured out black smokers. Pretty proud of that. A big thing that
Leviathan black smokers.
Yeah.
With the zigzagging.
Zigzagging.
You zigzagging.
For the puddles.
Yeah, you don't do that with the zigzagging.
We don't really. I mean, we kind of zigzag. It's just like boop 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 boop.
That's a zigzag.
It's more of a square, but yeah.
It's an oblong square.
It's an oblong. But one thing that they have been doing a lot in Shadowbringers is the subversion of expectations.
What do you mean?
They take mechanics that have always been bad in appearance and then flip-flop it so that then all of a sudden they're good.
What does that mean?
So let's take the twinning versus the academia for a second.
What? Wait. Okay.
The first two expert dungeons.
Yeah.
All right. So aside from Amarat, so one at the end of the twinning, sorry, the second boss of the twinning, the little lightning orbs will blow up. They're bad. You don't stand in those.
Those are bad.
Almost the identical looking thing in Quetzalcoatl. For the Academia final fight,
you want to touch those.
You want to get those, and if you don't,
wait, where are they bad in the other fight?
In the second fight, where they're like spread out around the room, and then they explode and give you vuln.
But in the last fight, you want to touch them.
Yeah, and then in E3, spoilers, Savage, for Black Smokers, it's you lay down puddles, and at first I thought, okay, don't let them touch, because that's my past knowledge. You don't let these touch or they're going to explode just like T9 meteors, kind of a thing.
The puddles
for
black smokers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought, don't let them touch.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Wait, what?
Doesn't matter if they touch. They can overlap.
I always thought if you touch them, they blow up.
No.
That totally happened to us. Are you sure?
Are you sure that did?
Maybe.
Does it blow up?
I'm fairly certain that if they touch, they blow up.
I didn't think they did, because or
if
maybe
they don't, then that's good.
Yeah, because they can't overlap to where it hits the person. Well,
if it hits the person,
yeah. Well, if it hits the other person, but like, can they touch each other?
Can the circles touch each other?
Can the circles touch? I didn't think that. I thought they could. Initially, I thought no, but no. You just so. At first we thought Yeah, the puddle.
The
can.
puddles.
Yeah.
The puddles can touch.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm just glad I'm not.
That changes
crazy.
everything.
It makes it a lot easier, huh?
Yeah.
Because for us, we have the range DPS. Also, stop making your casters do like tether shit. I've been
The black mage.
the black mage. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for people who's like, yeah, my team makes me bait puddles in E1. I'm like,
rip parse.
You poor deer.
Time to get a blue.
It's so bad.
Well, guess I'm getting a blue.
Because we had a situation when the puddle touched and we died. Yeah, and I think
that's why we thought.
I think that's entirely fair because they're very finicky. If you don't run in right away, they just blow my load and just go all over.
Oh, okay. All over the raid group.
They're really finicky. Like we had instances where people thought they did it right and it just didn't work. So I don't criticize not knowing. I'm glad that we could help.
That's why we thought that if they touch, they blow up.
So yeah, then we just minimize movement. So we have I think it's Choco baiting our. So it's just Choco, one here, so we're right next to each other. So then it goes Sophie 1.
And they could like super overlap.
Yeah. So Sophie 1, then me, right next to each other. Then he moves back over to Sophie. She takes the third one, and then he just takes back and eats the other one on his own. So then it's only the healer eats 2, DPS eats 1, other DPS eats 1.
That's so comfy.
Yeah. Knowing that the tether DPS can eat their own worked pretty well for us. That was a nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did that. We did like for the order, we were like healer, melee, healer, ranged. The baiter at the end. The baiter ate their own.
Yeah. I don't understand. People were like, Tate and Jesse were like, Black Smokers is the hardest part of the fight. Not even
no.
Tsunami 2 is still the one that
Hello World 2. Hello World 2. That's the hardest part. But no, it's not. It's actually not. Like the whole fight is not hard. But learning Hello World 2 is the hardest part. But then once you learn it, you're just like, oh, we finished it? That's it? And the raid group's like, yeah, that's it. We're like, oh, that's it. We're done.
To me, Tsunami 2 was the most, like, now we don't have any deaths on it. But I'm always like, what thing do I have? That's my anxiety of it. But for Black Smokers, I don't have to worry about anything. So I think Tsunami 2 is harder than Black Smokers. But you just
without a doubt it is.
More to pay attention to, but yeah.
Everybody has more to pay attention to with Hello Water too.
I tried to get sneaky with the Pantocrator, where you have to like bait the because I don't like doing that on Black Mage. But
do you have triple cast up around there or no?
I try to. Like I've been trying to save it. Sometimes I still pop triple cast when he's about to go away. I'm just like, shit, I forgot. Because I'm just worried. I'm just like focusing, tunneling on my rotation.
Right.
But yeah. But something like that where the Black Smokers puddles, you think, oh, there's another thing that really throws us off. But the Black Smokers puddle, you really think that the puddles are bad. Normally every time. Even in this own fight. Yeah. Standing in puddles gives you a heavy and it does damage over time. Don't stand in puddle or you get dropsy. Don't stand in the puddle. You're going to get yelled at.
Oh, I see where you're going.
So then, the last then you phase have to
is stand in the puddle.
So that's why I'm like, I think they're bamboozling us.
That's a debate.
Yeah. So that's why I was so irritated because I'm like, but I was happy that we finally that I figured it out. It's no big deal, really.
Oh yes.
It's no big deal at all. The other thing was the cones. We could not figure out for a while how the cones worked.
In Leviathan?
Yeah. For Tsunami 2.
Tsunami 2.
So for how we do it, we have the tank go north, like ahead of the two groups.
Oh, the people that are targeted that get assigned a cone and then they got to hit the tanks with it?
Yeah.
That part? Okay, what do you do?
Well, we thought that you had to like face them away from the group initially. We didn't know that it targeted anybody.
Kind of like voice.
Yeah, nothing in the tooltip or the debuff says what it targets or who it targets or what it does.
Right.
So
yeah.
So Tate was like, I have to tell you what it is because my prog group, like my world prog group, spent the longest time trying to figure it out. Like we had this whole like roundabout where they're like, oh, got to face it out. oh, somebody faced in. Oh, maybe it's targeting these. Like just having like everything that you think intuitively works,
right?
Doesn't for that. It's just like, oh, it just targets it. But then it's one of the easiest things because it just targets a tank.
It just targets the furthest person.
Furthest person, yeah.
Yeah. So the tanks go really far.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely a weird one.
The E4 elevation AoE, I actually ran into it. I was ready for it.
I don't know anything about E4 yet. So what is that?
Oh, you want me to? It's just the big squares. So like there's one square here, then two are normal, and then one square here. That these two have AoEs, and then they raise up, and you have to split the party based on that.
AoEs that regard elevation.
Yeah, it shifts the platform up.
Oh, okay.
So
that sounds cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
Interesting.
It's neat. But not everybody can go up, so then you got to figure out how to arrange people. That one gave me the most trouble because everybody was using strat jargon. Like we're going like 3 to 2 or something like that, or all that stuff. I'm like, stop like what are you talking about? They're just like, go 3 to this, and it's like,
what is 3?
You're talking to me like, and they're like, it's just AoEs. It's just this. You should know this by now. I'm like, I don't know what strat you're freaking talking about. Yeah, I had that was the worst part for me because I had no idea. Like 3 just involves like how many safe spots are there?
Oh, I thought you meant like I would assume 3 meant like you were trying to number the platforms, like if there were like 9 platforms.
Yeah, and we would have, I think I don't the markers don't go up to 3, but then we were like go to 2, so they were saying go to 2, and they meant go to the spot with 2 empty spaces or 2 safe spots, but
not
then
the
people got confused. So then they're like, oh, it's like, so would you stop? Like like they got frustrated at me because I couldn't get it, but like Corey and I were both like frying. Like I don't have any idea what you guys were referring to.
Your brain cells are getting overloaded right now.
Yeah, we still have half the group that's already done the fights now, which is unfortunate, but so it's hard for them to like sometimes to put themselves in our. Sometimes it's like, you know what, my group had issues on this, but if they've already gone through it, then there's not always that. Why aren't you getting this?
Yeah, I can see that being difficult. Like if you're like, let's say like you've already done the fight and you're in a group where half the people haven't, and you're like, why aren't they getting it yet? I guess I could understand. My group, like we pretty much are prog at the same rate, so I guess I'm lucky there that we don't have to worry too much about that. So yeah.
I don't know how everybody else's group does it, if they look up guides and they go in, or if they try and go in blind, or if they have more time.
We like to try to be as blind as we can. Yeah. As soon as we hit a mechanic where we're dying to it a lot, we're just like, okay, let's just see if there's like some kind of diagram that'll help us, like just organize it better. Fair. Yeah, we do that.
That's totally fine.
Yeah. But yeah, like pretty much like this goes into like how you learn these encounters is because of all the experience that you get from doing these fights for so many years, is you're able to just take those experiences and morph it into whatever you're seeing in these new fights.
Yeah, I will say it's helpful because at least knowing how to like call out different strats, or how to basically form a strat, because then you have, you know, common themes, or at least once if you're growing with your group, then you have things that you call out only as like your group that makes sense, and then you can kind of do that. So that's a benefit,
right?
But yeah, we have people with multiple groups, and then they're like calling different things, and so then it gets confusing sometimes. So, and I'm really bad at visualizing. Like I have to see it happening and called out while it's going on typically.
Or if people are in different groups and they're used to a different position, and then they like auto go to that position or something, and then everybody wipes and you're like, shit.
Yeah. It's been rough. It's been rough, but I still love it. I love everybody in our group.
That's gay.
Yeah. One is.
Oh my god. All right, was there anything else from this like main topic of how to get good that we wanted to cover, or
I talked about everything that I really wanted to go over. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to go over it. But we do have another thing that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Speculation.
Sure. What's that?
That you freaked out on me for. News of the PS5 coming out end of next year, which is.
I didn't even know there was any kind of date of it coming out in the slightest.
Yeah, the news released about like 5 days ago, so it's pretty new still. But
I feel so old.
Yeah, it's. I only knew about it because I saw some of my like favorite like Yongya and Maximilian dude. They were going over some of the stuff that they were hoping for like in there. But
next year,
but it's after FanFest, which means
at the end of the year
we might get an announcement for something new
of Final Fantasy on PlayStation 5.
We already know Yoshi's working on something.
Final Fantasy XIV on PlayStation 5, made by Yoshi P.
I hope so.
You think so? Maybe.
So I'm looking forward to getting an announcement. There's no guarantee that we will, but I really hope that we will, and that they'll have some, because that's their got PS4 support.
We're gonna get the new memes of PS4 limitations,
yeah, right,
instead of PS3 limitations.
They got a whole bunch of cool stuff going on with that, like I think it's haptics, where the controller, based on what you're doing in the game, will give you different sensations and feedback, and even like resistances on the triggers. Like if you're pulling back a bowstring, it'll like the trigger will give you resistance. And then like somebody was saying, in a racing game version for the PS5 build, or for PS5 build, the controller, you could feel two different terrains if you were driving on two different, like if you like half your wheels were off on the edge of the road and the other half were on it, then you could feel that you were on like half on, half off.
I have a question.
What's up?
Is there a penis attachment?
There probably they might. I guess there might be. I don't know.
All right. That sounds like that haptic feedback would be very
yeah, and it's backwards compatible, so you can
advanced.
Big old dong. There's a Final Fantasy attachment. You put it on your head, and just the dong, it starts to vibrate.
When I summon Bahamut every time, I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling it.
I'm Hawk Morning.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I feel very old now that you said that, because I realized that every single PlayStation we've been alive for it to release.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
I feel old.
So Blue Point Games, I think the producer, Blue Point's the one who made Shadow of the Colossus. They said they have something big in the works for it. But they didn't elaborate. They just said
Shadow of the Mega Colossus.
We'll leave it at that. We'll let you do with that info what you will. So I thought you'd be excited about that.
As in a new wait, what do you mean Blue Point Games? Team Eco made that game.
It's the producers. That's the person I was talking about. The from the video I saw, that is the Blue Point Games, whoever the producers were for that they were.
So assuming that means Team Eco is making a new game for the PlayStation 5?
I suppose. Let me look.
All right, cool. We'll see it in 2029. Thanks.
It's not Kingdom Hearts 3.
Looking forward to it. No, same thing with Last Guardian, dude. It was like a decade. Yeah, no. It was like a decade.
Oh, Last Guardian. Yeah,
Last Guardian took forever.
Let me see what. Do.
Yeah. Isn't Larry the youngest between Drak and Eva, and he feels old? Maybe we're like the same age, but you're like a little older.
What month is your birthday?
I'm in April.
April. Oh,
we're
so
like half
you're
a
6
year.
months.
I think, then. We're like half a year difference.
Tate's a month younger than me.
What a nerd!
I know.
Wait, that means that I'm like a bunch of months younger than him.
7. Yeah.
7 months. Yeah, because you're turning 29, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at him. Turning 29.
So, okay. So it says, we're working on something big right now. This is Marco Thrush, president of Blue Point Games, which most recently worked on last year's PS4 remake of Shadow of the Colossus. They'll let you figure out the rest.
Blue Point Games made the remake of Shadow. Okay, so it's not. It's not Team Eco game. It's not a new Team Eco
game. Probably not.
Maybe. I'm highly not as intrigued anymore.
Maybe they're remaking something you'd be interested in.
Maybe they're remastering Eco.
Maybe.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Some people are asking though about how to even make how to make a static, how to find one.
That's a very good question.
Yeah. My story was I was with a group in a free company. They just kind of invited me. I was one of those random pickups in the starting zone. I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. They just kind of invited me, and well, whatever happened with them wasn't the greatest experience. I was still pretty green, so I didn't do too hot. And I caused the wipe when we were about to beat T1 because I ran over to the other ad, and it was a glowy slime platform and a slime, and I felt so horrible. I felt garbage. But after a while, I just threw up a party finder. I went through one more group.
Look, you were like looking for a static that I could record and make videos on and make a career out of?
No.
Is that what your party finder said?
No, I was just like, monk looking for party can also tank or something like that. Just
that's like the same thing.
This is pretty. Yeah, that's how we started our YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up getting, so my first group like fell apart at T5 because one of the people,
Twintania.
Yeah, one of the people was like, hey, I got an offer on another group, so I'm gonna go with them.
Bye.
Yeah, and they left.
Bye, bitch.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, all right, cool. I was still mad at that.
Yeah.
I was pretty hostile over it, but I was like, you were just leaving us before we even finished.
Yeah.
We were still making progress. Anyway, then I was just like, whatever, forget it. I'm just gonna be in somebody else's group. I don't want to deal with the headache. And some people that had subbed for us were the raid leaders of Jesse and Seabass's group.
Yes, I say this happened a lot back in the day when there was no cross-world party finder and your whole party finder experience was on your server.
Yep.
People knew each other, so that definitely probably helped you a lot.
It did help. It was really cool. So then I was in their group, got a little bit better, got to know Jesse and Seabass, and then Jesse and Seabass brought over like all their friends from WoW after, but right before Heaven's Word. Wow. And then that's how Nest started.
Huh.
But it was that previous group, they kept making jokes that Raven's beak should make a little squeaky toy sound as soon as he like stabs the tank.
So they did that.
Yeah, that's how that started. And then I was
What
like,
a
I
good
could make a
idea.
video for that. And then that group disbanded, and when I got people together again to try and do T9 with everybody, I was trying to get everybody their clears. And
yeah.
So yeah, that was how Nest started.
My statics have always been friends that I've just made. Like my static right now is just my group of IRL friends that we've just been really close for years. So that's how my current static. If I didn't raid with them, I probably wouldn't really raid. I just raid to play with them. So
right.
But like previous statics that I've had, like my semi-hardcore static that we went through Second Coil Savage with, I went through Gordius Savage with. Those people I met because I just went into it. Like this was again back when Party Finder wasn't cross world.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in a Ramu farm.
Oh yeah.
And Ramu was really hard at the time, and so they were just like happy to find somebody that could do it. And we were farming it, and we got the ponies.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we're gonna do Second Coil Savage, you want to join? And so that's how I met them. So they were like, and I'm still close to a few of them, and I still talk to them now. So that's definitely like one way that I found a group. And then the way that I found my ultimate group that I did UCAB with was just there's a subreddit, the Final Fantasy XIV Recruitment subreddit, and I just went on there, and there's posts on there for like people looking for specific things, and I just found my UCAB group on there.
Yeah, that one was a little rocky if I remember.
Oh yeah, I went through like a bunch of different groups for ultimates until I found like one that jived well.
So, some people accepted your resume based on what name you used.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's another thing is like trying to go on there as like a content creator is like people will just be like either not answer or just judge you really easily. But
yeah,
regardless. trying to find a group. Yeah, trying to find a group. If this is a different struggle.
Yeah, entirely. It was just a funny story.
Yes, but yes. So finding a group on the Final Fantasy XIV recruitment subreddit is definitely I would say probably the best way if you're looking for a specific type of group.
Yeah,
it's probably the best way to do it right now.
Yeah. I got to be more careful because I've had people want to join just to be on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they I don't appreciate that. Or some people will like try and get into the group just to date a member. I've had that a couple times.
Okay. All right.
The fame has definitely made things more difficult. Like they try and get in. It's like I'm just like stop. No. People like it's not. If anybody's ever had that thought, it's very obvious, and everybody in the group will. You're a pariah.
What if I try to get into your group to date somebody? What if I want to date Raya?
Then we're gonna have a problem. You cheating?
How am I gonna get with Raya?
Go through Lemur first, I think.
Do I have to be a dancer? And dance partner him?
It couldn't hurt. I'm not gonna speak towards his personal preference, but
okay.
Everybody wants in for Raya.
Okay, thank you. I will try. Thank you, Drak.
Yeah,
please put in a good word for me. I will try.
How to make 7 other people feel awkward. I know, right? Yeah, it's never mind. I'll bite my tongue there.
All right. I think that's gonna be it. And with that, thank you, Drak.
Let's get some juicy details in on the last little drama bit that we had.
All right, that's gonna be it. I think we had a good conversation.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, about how the game doesn't teach you much, but if you want to learn, you want to learn.
It's going in the right direction, and I think talking about this stuff will help the developers figure out what are still the problem areas, because it's hard. Because thinking about it, like going back to the discussion of we've already done the fight, or these people have already done the fight, so they're explaining it in a way sometimes that makes sense for them, not necessarily somebody who hasn't done it yet. Or still may be a little bit vague. For people who have made the game, they know everything that's in the game already. How are they going to figure out what people don't know, or like what things are obvious, what aren't? You know,
they're brand new.
Yeah. So hopefully,
you gotta put yourselves in their shoes.
If anybody watching from Square is here, then I hope this was enlightening at least a little bit, aside from our normal shenanigans. But yeah,
that's it.
So thank you guys.
That's all we got.
Thank you guys for hanging out. We appreciate it. We'll be back next week. I think we're going to be switching times to 5 consistently, just to make things easier.
We'll shoot for 5 p.m.
Yeah, just to make sure that we don't have to postpone it every time. We'll just have it consistently 5.
Yeah, consistently 5 p.m.s.
So if you guys
look forward to
listening later, this is Dualcast Show, twitch.tv/Dualcast Show. DUAL, not Duel. Dualcast.
Thank you for listening.
So,
we will see you next time. Wait, next time is next time the Near Live letter? Is that this weekend, my friend?
It might be.
Hold on.
You know what else it is?
That is this weekend. Is the Near Life letter?
Do you want to do something on this weekend?
Well, the live letter itself is going to be like 3 a.m., dude.
Yeah.
I can't get up at 3 a.m. I work at 6. We'll see. But
we'll see.
The live letter for the next week's Dualcast will be about the live letter.
It's also my birthday.
And your birthday. On the week of the day of the Dualcast?
Yeah. Wednesday.
The 22nd.
23rd.
22nd is Tuesday.
Yeah. 23rd. And then the day after that, we're going to medieval times. Woo.
Yeah, we're going to eat some chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken.
All right. So we will see you guys then. Have a good one, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.